Hey guys, it's Alyssa. How you doing? I'm down here at Embellish in Watertown, Wisconsin, and I just made something that I thought was so stinking cute. I decided to come right on here and show you how to do it. So this card, the ink is barely dry on it, but it turned out so cute. I thought, let's make it together. So I grabbed my stamp set, just my type, brand new stamp set. Didn't need it, totally just wanted it. I know we talked about that before. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, right? This one is on page 69 of the current idea book and catalog, and it's just very adorable. Just, I love everything about it, the images, the sentiments, and I had to have it. So if I have to have it, I have to play with it and justify my purchase, right? So I have been having a lot of fun with this stamp set. So unusual color combo today. I'm using Pretty Peacock. I almost said Pretty Pink. That is not pink. Pretty Peacock, Flirty Flamingo, and Pool Party. Okay, so we have peacocks and flamingos at a pool party. That's what we're using today. And then I've got Flirty Flamingo, Lost Lagoon, which if you'll notice, it's right between these two shades. So a little darker than Pool Party and not as intense as Peacock. Lost Lagoon and Basic White. Okay, so you're going to need a card base of Flirty Flamingo. So that is just a half a sheet of 8.5 by 11 cut in half and folded to make a card that fits inside a regular medium A2 envelope. Then your piece of matte cardstock, your accent color cardstock, should be 3 by 5. 3 by 5, so that would make this neutral piece 2 3/4 by 4 3/4. Okay, so it's a long, narrow rectangle, and it's going to be attached to the, butted up against the top edge of the card. So there will be big Flirty Flamingo borders showing all the way around your focal point. Okay, so let's stamp our background paper first. I'm going to leave this here so you can kind of see where we're headed. And let me put down a piece of paper to protect my surface. I'm going to start with Flirty Flamingo and the Hello stamps that look like antique typewriter keys. And we're going to start by just randomly stamping these down the page, and I'm varying where I put them, partly because I don't want to accidentally just have the word hell on my card. So I'm varying where the letters land. And it does not have to be perfect because a lot of this will be covered up. Like I can put the word hell here because this will be covered up by the typewriter. But you want them to be as straight as you can make them. And they are clear stamps. That wasn't great either, but we'll just make sure our typewriter comes down there. You want them to be straight, but don't like panic about it if it's not straight. And then I'll go back and add my letters in. Okay, this is the least straight one I've done so far. Yeah. But it will be okay. I promise. I promise. See, that's not too bad. When it's all done and you're thinking of the typewriter being here, that wasn't too bad at all, right? Okay, so that's our background paper. And we can get rid of our grid paper. Oh, my glue is almost out. I'm one of those people who uses it till I can absolutely not shake any more drops out of it. Okay, so I've got my background on my Lost Lagoon piece, and then my Lost Lagoon piece is going to be attached to my card base. This is such an easy card. If you need to make a bunch of cards for something, this would be a good design to choose because that's pretty simple, right? Okay, and then before I stamped in Pool Party some of these cute little paper outlines, and these are 2 separate stamps. So like if you want just this outline, it doesn't have to say For You on it. For You is a separate stamp from this paper outline. So I stamped a bunch of paper outlines. I did go ahead and stamp Thank You on one of them, and that's how we're going to have sheets of paper here by our typewriter. But first we got to stamp the typewriter. So I'm using Pretty Peacock, which is my darkest of the 3 colors. And this is a pretty solid stamp, so you just double check that it is really inked. Oh, perfect. Close that before I get into trouble with it. Although it's pretty shade, I wouldn't mind having that all over my hands. I've had worse. Like, I've had, I don't even know what color that is. Oh, I was using Moody Mauve this morning, so that's what that is. Looks like my thumb is horrifically burned. No, it's just ink, as usual. One time I had an encounter with a real red ink pad, and it looked so bad. I had 2 separate people look at it and gasp in the grocery store because they thought it was like a horrible road rash type scrape all down my my forearm, and it did look really drastic. So we had a good laugh when I had to tell them it was just ink, that I'd set my elbow down in the ink pad because that's the sort of thing that I do regularly. All right, so I cut out my little typewriter and I cut out my little papers. There's no dies for this set, but it's really quite easy to cut, so no sweat there. It's a really inexpensive little set too, which I appreciate. It made it even easier for me to just decide that I had to have it. Okay, so my typewriter is going to go over the background, and because I messed up on this little letter here, I'm going to make sure that my typewriter covers that little background. You can put it at an angle if you want. I just couldn't stand to see my typewriter at an angle, so I laid it straight. Then we've got some cute little papers to put in our typewriter that I angled a little bit. And we've got one with straight. I'm just going to glue those down. They don't need to be popped up like the other papers did. So because I went over the background piece on this side, I'm going to go over on this side too, just to balance it. Let me pull my typewriter up a little bit so I can get my sheets under there, which means I'm going to have to use dimensionals on this layer too then. So cute. Ah, I just love it. And I have just a few of these classic matte dots left. So I'm just going to add some texture to my typewriter by adding a few buttons, so to speak, to my typewriter. Nope, that needs one more dot here. There we go. There we are. Isn't that cute? I just love it. I just love it. It was so much fun. So I hope you take a look at Just My Type. You can shop anytime at lissa.stampitup.net. And just, if you would, please make sure that I am the demonstrator listed at checkout, because I'm having a lot of trouble with orders going to other demonstrators. When people started shopping with me, somehow they wind up with their cart on another demonstrator store. So if you could just double check that, I would appreciate it so much. It's lissa.stampitup.net. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good rest of your day.